Hey everyone, welcome. See Dongle, you're in there. He-Man, Beck. If you're in the chat, say hey and welcome our guest tonight. First in this new kind of format, I'm going to try out. Mr. Mento, what's going
Thank you
on?
for having me.
Yeah, do you want me to call you Mento or do you want me to call you by your name?
Yeah, Mento works. That's
Yeah.
kind of like that's just kind of what I go by. No need for the Mister in there.
All
Maybe a few
right.
more gray hairs.
All sounds good. Hey, we got a couple people first time chat. Morbid
Cool.
Morbid G. I don't know how I should be saying that. Purple, welcome. Donner don't care. Imagery, what's going on? So like I said, I'm gonna try out something new on the stream. Um, had so much fun a couple weeks ago when Bean came on and thought it would be great to maybe every other week try to get an artist who I admire their work, or haven't got to know yet. Just use this as a way to get to know artists, talk about what they got going on, maybe help some of you get to know some artists and get some stuff in your collection from artists you haven't seen, or just learn about more about artists you already know really well. So I know, Mento, you've been around now for a couple years doing stuff. Started out with your donuts
Yeah.
and yeah.
Now I look at it, it's coming up on. I mean, I want to say I really like. I started teaching myself Blender and stuff like maybe this time 2020. So
Okay.
yeah, right around the 2 year mark.
Nice, man. Very cool. So what I want to do is just offer this space, like I said, for people to get to know you more, maybe tell a little bit about your background and what you're up to. You can, if you have any stuff you want to sell, like I know we chatted about, this is an opportunity to do that. And if you don't, that's great too. And we'll typically, if we do, we'll probably run stuff in a kind of the purchase lottery style, like I usually do on here. And then if you have any stuff you want to show off, projects you're working on, things you're excited about, and if
Yeah.
not, even if you get some stuff in the mail you want to show off, what you're collecting, what
Well, yeah, I mean,
turns
I'm
your
a
gears.
collector first and foremost. Like I think a lot of these artists are where it's like
Absolutely.
we're inspired by a lot of the same things, and I'm in there fighting everybody for the same pieces
Yeah,
sometimes, and I've been
absolutely.
able to amass a pretty decent sized collection of just random here and there things from whether it's artists I like or just pieces that caught my eye, and then I start
Yeah.
following that artist, and it's that
Yeah.
it's that evolution.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, worst question I could ask you: what's your favorite piece right now?
Ugh.
Make you pick a favorite.
So I stick to this one. Let me grab it.
That snail back there too is pretty epic. That's a giant guy.
This one is probably my favorite piece in my collection.
Oh, nice.
And this is Party Starfish by Sad Salesman.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And this is a piece that my wife picked up for me when we went to visit the Clutter Gallery in Beacon
Okay.
for the Planet Rainbow Sparkles 5 show last year because I had some pieces in there, and that was my first time ever having pieces in an art gallery or anything.
Ah,
So
nice.
we traveled out there, and she, behind my back, went and grabbed this one for me. So this is a special piece. It just kind
Very
of
cool.
represents a lot, and for me, it's kind of like celebrate your own successes. Crack open a cold one. Cheers
There
to
you
you.
go.
Kind of. This
That's
is, I mean,
that's
out of
awesome.
it's hard to pick a favorite, but this is kind of like
Absolutely.
always my go-to when that question comes up.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say hey to a couple more people. Let's see, uh, Gordon says the Donut Man is here. Fet's in here. What's up, Fet? Thanks for coming in. Dom, what's going on? So I know. Well, not to jump the gun, but why don't you tell us a little bit about you know, uh, what got you into doing this and what keeps you doing it?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because I've told the story a couple times, and then I've spoken with a lot of people who seem to have kind of a similar
Sure.
tone to kind of the path they've taken, and a lot of it was COVID. I mean, COVID came around and it took my career right out from underneath me. I
Mm,
was doing fleet sales for Ford, making good money, doing no work. These were all old contracts. I got paid a good percentage. So as
Mm.
long as they kept buying, I was
Yeah.
good. I take a brand new truck out every day, drive around town, take a long lunch, go home, do whatever I want. I mean, I was really milking the clock and getting paid well to do it. And then as soon as COVID came, they stopped making trucks. Everyone stopped buying trucks. I mean, it really was
Mm.
one day good, next day the career's over.
Yeah.
So I had them lay me off with the hopes of maybe coming back, but obviously COVID went from 2 weeks to flatten the curve to here we are 2 years later and it's still
Yeah.
going strong.
Yeah.
But so that granted me some time at home that I had never really had. I was always Mr. 80-hour work week. My wife stayed at home, took care of the kid. I went to work, paid the bills. I didn't have a social life. I didn't have time for anything. And so it took me about a month or two of having this newfound time where I was like, I should really find something to do with all this time. And I don't know exactly what came first. I was whether it was browsing through Instagram, which was something I had never really done, or maybe it was some posts I had seen on
Sure.
Reddit. But I kind of started getting exposed to like steady crafting was one of the first people I saw, the craftsman, and I fell in love with his drawl. That New
Yeah.
Orleans drawl pulled me in, and the stuff
Well,
he was
hello.
doing was so cool.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, he really was one of those guys that it kind of made me realize like, hey, like you can do this kind of stuff from home, not knowing near what was involved, but that was kind of that first taste of it. And then I was unaware that 3D printers even existed. I
Yeah.
had no idea of that stuff. But yeah, I just started, found out Blender was free, downloaded Blender on an old laptop that I had, started messing around, found out real quick a laptop's not the way to go. So moved to an old desktop that I had
Yeah.
and just slowly started hitting buttons and playing around and getting exposed more to Instagram. Resin Rookie and
Oh.
yourself are two others that kind of were right there at the beginning for me, where
Mm.
that's kind of what sucked me in. I was like, okay, like this is a thing. Like it's not just me, it's a thing, and there's people out there doing it and
Doing it,
doing it
yeah.
well. So that was kind of like the first taste of it all.
That's cool, man. So, uh, question for you, the craftsman. Do you want to know or do you not want to know who he is?
It's like the like you hear the radio station guy all day every day your entire life, and you've created this image in your head of
Yeah.
exactly what they look like, and then you see them and it's so far off.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to know.
I don't either,
I
man.
think I
I'm right
want to
there.
know in like organically. Like I want to be sitting at the bar at the airport and hear that voice and look over and just know.
Yeah. Just wink and go, okay, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. We'll say, what's up, Smitty? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, man, that's really great. That's cool. And yeah, I think Resin Rookie, like you said, he's just continually, killing it and doing it well. And it's like that
Constantly.
spurring on you need when you see right what they do and keep going. So you're saying that was like about 2 years ago, more
Yeah.
or less. You said so.
Yeah. Right there in 2020.
Yeah, so not that far then around, not too far after your 1 year, that was that Rainbow Sparkle show you were talking about, right? Like a couple
Yeah,
months
I mean,
after?
I really got a taste of. So my first toy that I released was I don't have one actually. It was the Awful Waffle, and so it was a
Mm,
3D printed waffle with a hand sculpted frame that I cast in two pieces, and I learned a ton then because that was when I had just gotten the 3D printer. Thankfully, my dad he's one of those guys where like he'll get into something and then he'll just go all out, and then ooh, a blue car, and he
yeah,
gets distracted and goes on to the next big thing. So
sure.
he had a pressure pot because he was doing some like wood CNC cutting and like
Okay.
resin pouring and stuff like that, like kind of stuff you see on Etsy. And so it kind of that coupled with what I was already getting interested in from browsing the internet instead of going
Sure.
to a day job. So all of a sudden I had all this stuff that I kind of could repurpose for what I was using. But I learned a lot there. I wasted a ton of silicone. I wasted a ton of resin. I made
Sure.
so many mistakes. Um, but it was all learning, and then I started to really fall in love with just the learning side of it, because I realized really quick, like, okay, you're not going to get this right the first time. You just the way my brain works. Sometimes I'm not. Even now, I still make some of the same mistakes that I made
Sure.
then, because I'll get too far ahead of myself, and I gotta, okay, slow it back, like follow the process. But
Yeah, man.
so the waffle toy was really cool because it gave me a chance to learn a lot. And then Sauce Drops Toys actually had reached out to me back then, in a Bean Largent live show. I was
Yeah.
watching her on Twitch because she was another one that, I found out, okay, she's making these molds for a lot of these people. I was watching her when she was working on your big barrelator one. I
Oh, yeah,
remember when
yeah.
she opened the box and she had the first like the first pieces of it, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize you could go that big.
Sure.
And then I actually got to see those in person at DCon in November, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they were
But
fun.
yeah, so within that first year, I dropped the waffle toy, and then it kind of spurred right into the donut right after. And the donut is really what kind of just took off in a way. I mean, not like in a like drastic sales kind of way, but
Yeah.
more in like I was coming more into my own style. I was developing some features that have kind of now become synonymous with myself, and really, it was part of that learning and that graduation.
Sure.
So the donut has been, kind of associated immediately with Mr. Mento. But since then, I've done all kinds of, I've done candy apples,
Yeah.
tequila bottles, donut shops. I mean, I've not tried to limit myself too much, but everything seems to stay within a theme.
Yeah. We've got Golden Dongle says the brow, calling out the specific brow line
Yeah,
that the toys have. It's very distinct. Do you have any?
it's really interesting because I had seen an article, throughout all that time on the internet, and it
Sure.
was kind of like one of those, almost like how to make your own toy kind of thing. And I
Hmm.
don't know who wrote it, and maybe it wasn't the best article, but one of the first things that they had mentioned in that article was like, well, you need to have a signature style, as if that's just something that you can just, oh, I'll just
Yeah.
have this as my style.
This is it.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way, like you could kill yourself trying to come up with something. And again,
Sure.
it was organic. I was messing around with some clay. You know I'm not a master sculptor by any means,
Mm,
not on a computer, not by hand. But I kind of stumbled across this little face that worked, and then I
yeah.
translated that into a digital sculpt because it was relatively simple. And then it was like, okay, this works. And I kind of created this whole little series of donut guys,
Sure.
and they all kind of fit. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So that's when I kind of ran with it. But since then, I mean, it's been, yeah, very much kind of my signature.
Yeah, it's great. We got a couple comments here. Fett says that you gave a lot of people diabetes with all your pieces.
We
That
keep it sweet around here.
yeah, and then Fat Dads, welcome in. Fat Dads says you still got to put a worm in that tequila bottle. He's
I
hoping
tell you,
for.
that's something that's come up quite often, and there's been some other artists I've talked to as well.
Mm-hmm.
For some potential collaborations, some
Awesome.
artists that have got some worm characters of themselves already, and that's the other great part about this community and creating art, is that everything can take on so many different little tentacles and spread its wings, I guess. And it can become, I mean, it already has become something so much bigger than myself, and it
Sure.
inspires others, which then inspires me. I mean, I remember like Resin Rookie, for example. I remember I'd shot him a message early on when I started doing this stuff, just kind of explained to him, like, hey, you've really inspired me to give this a shot, and try out my own art and continue to pursue it. And he's always been so great to me. And then I think about 6 months later, the next message I was sending him was like, hey man, I'm going to be on display with your pieces at this gallery show. And like that right there was a moment of like, oh gosh, I felt like I had kind of made it in a way. And then now it's just like every other day I get these little feelings of just like, okay, like you've made it, you've made it, you've made it. It just
Yeah.
keeps feeling like so much excitement and so many good things. I get people then messaging me telling me how I've inspired them and it's like, it's just all the stuff I would have never factored in when I
Yeah.
was, again, browsing the internet because I didn't have a day job.
Sure. That's awesome. Fed Up says, can I sculpt a Freddy Krueger worm for the inside of a bottle for a Halloween release?
See, that's
That
exactly.
you go.
And
Hit me
my
up.
thing is like, yes, absolutely, yes. Like I'm on board with any and all of it. It's. I think it's a fine balance, as an artist, where you want to protect your baby.
Yeah.
Like you want, like, this is this is mine and this is a piece of me. And when I really like dug into my subconscious of like what's the donut about and stuff, like it really ties in a lot to me having more time with my son that I had never had before, and we were taking trips to go get donuts while mom's at work, and it's just two dudes hanging out. And so it's like it has a sentimental personal meaning to me, but
Yeah.
so much of this community has become family to me that it's exciting that somebody would want to. You know what I mean? It's exciting that somebody would want to take something that I've done and elaborate on it, or make it a piece of their own or a piece of their history. And so
Sure.
I get messages quite often. Hey, actually, just before I got on, another artist had messaged me. Hey, I'd love to, do some work on one of your pieces. And absolutely, what's your address? Like, let's make something happen.
Sure.
Um, because for me, it's I'm one person, I'm just one guy, and I
Yeah.
think I'm a pretty creative guy. But then when you go to these conventions or you look on people's pages, you see like, guess what? There's a lot of other creative guys out there, and they see the world so differently.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. I think that's one of the great things that with the Booze and Buddies show, those guys have done is do the miscast shows where, stuff that might just sit in a bucket to the side because it
Yeah,
was messed up, that people would get
I
it
don't
and
throw them
make
away
something.
now. Now I keep
Yeah,
boxes because it's like this used to be trash. That's treasure now.
yeah. And just seeing what people take and do with it and connecting using that platform to connect artists is crazy and it's so awesome
Well,
that they do
and
it.
it keeps that cycle of inspiration going, at least for
Yeah,
myself, where it's like, okay, gosh, like let me just take a piece of your brain and try to tap it into mine and see what
yeah,
that does. Because, you can redo the same thing a million times over and it would be so different each time. If you're just looking at it differently, or you're in a different mood, you've got a different perspective, whatever it may be. And that's another beauty of Instagram and this kind of like chronological, I can flip all the way down to my very first post 2 years ago, and you can see this progression of your art. It's all
yeah,
kind of archived right there.
yeah. It's so fun. I was doing that the other day because I was talking to somebody and I found my early posts of barely and when I made my first mold and I put too many rubber bands on it, so the first figure I pulled out of the mold is like a squished
Yeah,
version. He's kind of narrowed because I tightened it too much. It's yeah, having that kind of track historical record like you said of your work is crazy. And like
totally.
no, what a time in history, to be doing this and having social media. I mean, as long as
Plus,
Instagram stays out of the way, right, and doesn't keep making the algorithm change so that we have to restructure stuff.
it's one of those things. I look at it almost like gas prices. I'm just like, I know it's there. I know it's a problem. I try to just ignore it because at the end of the day, like, I got to get the gas or I
Yeah,
got to use the Instagram. But I started picking up where people are like, oh, it's all about reels. If you're not posting reels, no one cares. Instagram's never going to show your stuff. And I didn't pay no mind to it. But then, I'd post a reel and it would get more traction. So
yeah,
I mean, I play the game just as well, but I certainly hate when the goalpost keeps moving.
absolutely. I think lately I've been seeing Fifth Turtle's been doing that really well. He's been putting reels and stuff, and I'm like, man, okay, I got to get
I
on
know.
doing it. It's encouraging though to see other people,
This.
because I think at first a lot of us go, no, we're not going to do this, but then we realize we have to, and then somebody jumps in, and then it encourages the rest of us to push forward.
That's the thing is nobody likes change,
Yeah,
really. I mean, especially like for myself, I was not a social media guy at all. Like I just didn't. It didn't do anything for me.
yeah,
But now it's done so much for me and for my art and just for myself. Like my life has changed completely in these last 2 years, and I got to chalk up a lot of it to Instagram. And so yeah, it sucks when like things change, and I know I have to adapt, but
yeah,
it's easier to adapt if all your friends are adapting too.
yeah,
It's the whole jumping off a bridge kind of thing. It's like,
yeah.
well, you go first, I'm right behind you.
Let's struggle together, and we'll get it figured out.
Exactly.
Cool. Nice. So I don't know if you ever said for sure, and I want to make sure we land on this. Did you have any stuff you wanted to put up tonight? If not, that's cool.
I don't think
Okay.
that I do. I mean, I always want to have something to offer. This last couple months, I've been really just beating myself up. We had that big show in Zazzy's at
Yeah, dude.
Zazzy's in New York last week. That was the time of my life.
That's
But
great.
working up to it, I mean, I really, blew my wad, for lack of a better word, on all my time and everything.
Sure.
I've got some cool things I can show off.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure. I just want to give you no pressure to do it. I just wanted to give you the avenue if you had stuff.
No,
'Cause
no, and I greatly appreciate it, and that's another great part of this community,
yeah,
and like what you do here, like Booze and Buddies, how you mentioned, these opportunities to get in front of a lot of people,
sure.
to show off what you're working on, and to offer things to new fans and old fans.
Yeah, yeah.
But my thing was, it's like, okay, Adam 6 months ago, I would have stayed up the last 2 nights casting stuff and going crazy so that I had something to offer. But it's like, okay, I've still got pieces I need to get sent out. I've still, it's like the
Yeah.
last thing that I want to do is continue to bury myself. So I'm learning. I'm getting
Yeah.
better.
It's
And
a
sometimes
process.
that means making the hard decision.
Absolutely.
But I've been blessed to have a group of fans that constantly support me, wherever I'm at, and are always kind of cheerleading for me.
Mhm.
And whenever I do come up with a new drop, I end up with so many more new fans that come in. It's always a blessing. But so the most recent one I've been working on, and the next drop that I'll have coming up here, hopefully pretty soon, is going to be my ice cream.
Oh,
So this is
that's awesome.
yeah, so it's a two solid resin cast, two parts, and then sealed as one. And it's, yeah, it's got the Mento. I don't know how well you can see it. The Mento
Yeah.
brow,
Oh yeah.
his
It even
eyes and his
says Mr.
tongue. This
Mentos
is
on the
like a
front, yeah?
Yep. It's in a blue mica. It's got
Nice.
on the ice cream cone, Mr. Mentos. And this is all solid resin and hand painted, and then this is solid resin cast in like a blue mica.
Nice.
So the idea will be to do maybe X amount of a certain color, and then offer up some others as well. But this was one actually I started working on right after decon last year, and
Yeah.
then got myself so caught up in so many other projects that it was I'm always quick to put my own work on the back burner. It's like, okay,
Sure.
well, that can wait because no one's waiting on that but me, and
Yeah.
I'm okay to wait. Whereas, let me get this done. Let me get this done. And then a lot of it too was like limitations of my skills. I was like
Mm.
6 months ago, I would have had a really hard time finding a way to make a two piece toy that goes together. And I've learned a lot about slicing prints and pegs and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Oh,
So
tell me about it.
that's been a thing too, is learning when to put a project on the back burner and know, like, okay, there's been so many times where I'll be sculpting. I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. I got to stop. But
Yeah.
then a few months later, I've learned enough. I'm like, oh, let me go back to that other one because now I know what to do.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
But so
that's
the ice cream is coming, hopefully here, pretty soon. It's the molds are made. This was kind of the AP test cast. Came out really well.
yeah, dude.
I did a raffle for this at the Zazzy show. Shout out to everybody that chipped in to get in on the raffle.
That's awesome.
And so this one is spoken for actually to a local collector. To me, I'm in the Denver area,
Okay.
and a good fan of mine was able to pick that up. So I'm
Nice.
excited to hand deliver it to him.
We got some comments on it, the Facebook group, and I wanted you to shout that out because I know you have a group there, and
Yes.
people should join up on that. I've joined into it. Some great stuff. Uh, Dom is saying that pre-sale in the Facebook group soon. Join the group for advance notice, so
Yep,
don't
absolutely.
miss
So that'll
out.
be the first place you'll get an opportunity at the ice cream, and probably some future drops too. We've been trying to kind of place a little bit of precedent on that Facebook group to just kind of
Very
help it
cool.
grow. And there's just been really, really great support in there from the beginning. Shout out to Dagos and to Golden Dongle for
Yeah.
for helping me put that together and helping me run it. Because as you know, I mean, when you're one person, you're one person.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
it is a 24-hour gig, and you still forget a lot of things. So
Sure.
having people that really have your back and then really have your best your best your best in mind, they want the best for you. It's a blessing to have people like that, and then seeing that community grow, seeing how it's just always fun. People are always sharing, laughing. There's never any drama. There's no BS. It's just always a good time. And of course, we do giveaways, we do raffles, we do.
Yeah.
The whole idea is just have another space unique to Mr. Mento and the toys.
That's great. Fat Dad says your growth is so rad to watch, bro. So some good encouragement for you there. And
That's another one. Great guy, man.
yeah,
Great guy, and another big support from the beginning.
that's awesome. And Fet suggesting you do some keychain ice creams down the road.
That's one thing too that I've been really trying to keep in the back of my mind is, not everybody. I mean, even like I've got a pretty big in this new place we moved. Like I can store a bunch of stuff up there, but it's like even that starts to fill up fast.
Yeah.
And we had to downsize recently, so we're in a much smaller place than we were before. And so, not everybody has room for a 5-inch toy, an 8-inch toy, on their shelf. So
Yeah.
the beauty of, again, digital sculpting, 3D printing, and molding and casting is the ability to kind of scale them up or down depending on what your printer's willing to run.
Yeah.
I know Fet's a big fan of minis.
Absolutely.
Always running them super small minis. I've got a couple, I mean, heck, I got this little snack rabbit mushroom piece, but I mean,
nice.
We call me and Snack Rabbit always call them apartment sized toys.
There you go. Awesome. I see Dongle on here is saying there's very close to the reveal, only a few more members to the big giveaway. How many more members do you guys need to get to that threshold?
I think we were, I want to say it was at 150 we were supposed to do the reveal, or something right around there. And I think the giveaway was going to be right at 200, but Dongle will know.
He said we actually just hit 150. He just said that in the chat.
Check that out. Cheers to that.
There you go. Awesome. Very cool. So yeah, so that'll be great. So keep your eyes out for the reveal.
Yeah, there'll be another giveaway coming. We did a triptych set of creatives cards as our first giveaway.
Nice.
We did a Mento Kia bottle, which I think I have the original. This is just the one of the prints, original prints.
Those are
so we did one of these as a giveaway. It comes with a cork, based off the Patron bottle.
Yeah.
This was another toy. It was kind of inspired by, a night where my wife had the in-laws over and they started popping tequila, and I rarely drink. And for whatever reason that night I decided to partake, and we had a really good time. And
cool, man.
And the next morning it was kind of like refreshing my brain, and I was like, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
And within a few days we had a new piece.
I think it's so cool, man. And I love how each piece, like that kind of that brow and those eyes and stuff kind of translate, and have as I've seen it be on some of your different toys, that very distinct look. It's, to me, it's almost like some kind of like ghost or something is like, inhabiting, it almost gives that vibe.
Yes, it's this
entity
essence of.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool. So I know you gosh, months and months ago now, you teased a baker's dozen on your donuts. And
yes.
How has that gone, or where are you at in the process with that?
So that was one of those cool things where it's like, it started off as a simple idea. Dr. Plops had reached out to me and asked that I send him the file so he could redo, kind of in his style. And so he did. And then that just ended up kickstarting this whole big thing that, again, this was maybe 8 months, a year into doing this stuff. And I was definitely like, I'm invincible. I could do whatever. We can make 50 toys, separate pieces, no problem.
Yeah.
And then, that momentum kept going, and traveling to cons, and then taking on new things, that it kind of was one of those things where I think I got to a point where I was scared. I was like, okay, maybe I don't know as much as I thought I know.
Sure.
And now I've got works from amazing artists that I have nothing but respect for, that it's like, okay, so you have to do it right, and you have to, you can't half-ass it. And so a big part of it, truthfully, I think, was like, okay, I need to wait. I need to get to a point where I can really sit down and do everything. But so I've got everything printed. I've got I did cast the Dr. Plops piece. So I've got a mold for that. I think I only have just a miscast of his right now.
Oh, nice. Is that flat on one side?
No, it was slightly underfilled, unfortunately. So that's kind of where that miscast come in. But he's got a brain on there, and it's got a very Plops feel to it.
That's cool.
I actually was lucky enough to he flew out from Ireland to New York to be at the Zazzy show with us. He was a big part of that show.
That's
And
awesome.
so I did cast one and hand paint it for him, which I'll post up on my Instagram probably sometime tonight or tomorrow. I
Sweet.
got a lot of footage to go through.
That's
But
great.
so his was the first that he sent me. So it was the first one I made the mold of. But I do have them all printed and mold ready.
Oh, that's cool.
Let me
Fet
reach
Fet
back and
says
show.
he's
Oh,
Fet says he's in the middle of remaking his donut for the dozen.
yes.
Hey,
This is Barely's
that
here.
looks familiar. That's so
Yes.
cool to see
I
it.
love this guy's little zombie guys. Got little
Yeah.
stitches on there, little kaiju.
There you go.
I think it's going to be a great addition to the Dirty Dozen here.
That's cool, man.
That's what I got.
That's fun to see.
GDM.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that one.
Yes,
That's
so he
awesome.
did his big boxer donut.
Yeah.
So these are all still very much on, and he actually sent me, he printed one and painted it. And then now I was like, oh gosh, well, I can't do it that justice because if you know GDM, I mean, the guy's, his work is just top notch all the way around.
Absolutely.
So that's a prize piece of the collection. Let's keep reaching back.
Yeah, I'm like the shelf doesn't look that deep, but you just keep going and going and going.
I know. It's like one of those magic hats. You just keep
There you
pulling
go.
back.
Yeah.
Sir One did a really cool a vampire inspired
Nice.
donut. It's got two little fang bites with some jelly dripping.
That's great.
And he's blessed it with his logo there on the back.
That's cool.
Gosh, I'm just keep reaching. This one is a really cool one. This was a hand sculpted one that Doompy Art did. So he's got this little Doompy face figure, and he sculpted on a body. This will be an interesting one to cast.
Yeah.
But Doompy's been a good friend of mine and a great support. And he's somewhat local to me too. He lives not too far from me.
That's cool.
So that was another one to include into the bunch.
Those are super cool.
Resin rookies.
Yeah. Oh man.
Very instantly recognizable as a resin rookie donut.
Yeah, he's got it. Someone just like you's got a very distinct, style.
It is instant, like you just know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm super excited about. I was like when I was typing that message out to ask him if he'd be a part of it. That was one where I was, you put people on a pedestal, and I still have them on a pedestal, but I really had him on the pedestal then, and I was like, I think I let that message sit for a day or two before I finally hit send because you get really in your head. And of course, he's like, oh yeah, I'd love to, and then he's like, oh, you should ask Barely. I was like, you think? So I should really. He's like, yes, you should ask Barely. I was like, okay. So I get in there and you're like, yeah, I'd love to, and I'm just like, you get in your head a lot, and I'm a firm believer in get out of your own way. So that I have to tell myself, like, dude, get out of your own way. Just get out of your own way. Let it happen. What's he gonna do? He's gonna tell you no. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah. It's. I think that's. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good lesson for people, especially if people who are getting into this, or even people that have been in it for a while.
Yeah.
Just doing this the other night, just asking people, hey, you want to be a part of this thing I'm doing on Twitch? For an hour, and I'm like, no one's gonna want to do this, and you're like,
I think we're all very, very quick to dismiss ourselves, regardless of I think we don't put ourselves on a pedestal, it's everybody else. And it's like, and we're down here, and it's hard to, even though it's worked out for me every time I've sent that message or every time I've tried to make that connection, it's always worked out.
Yeah.
You'd think I would default to like, oh yeah, but that's just not my personality. I'm not that guy. So I have to constantly remind myself like, hey, it's going to be good. Just ask, just ask.
Yeah. Well, it's, I try to remind myself, I heard somebody say the definition of humility, isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less, so know your worth. Think, don't think less of who you are or your abilities, but, and that's what I love about this community is how others focused people are. And it's like, you get people like Alex, and Fet who are doing Booze and Buddies, and they are super talented artists, and I don't think they have, I think all artists kind of wrestle with, is this good enough? I'm trying to keep working it, but it's like they know their place, so they can roll with it, and they reach out, and you just feel how comfortable they seem to be in their own skin, and chatting with other people.
It's a true confidence.
Yeah. And it's and I love how others focused they are and the platform they give to other artists and everything that went on um,
Those
with the
guys
Plastic
do
Pizza show.
is amazing, and I
Yeah.
think that a large part of it comes from that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're one of those people that's envious of others, or you don't want to highlight somebody out of fear it's gonna expose you for, oh well, I can't do this, right?
Yeah.
Those guys are not that. I mean, these guys will bring on anybody, and they will cheerlead for them, and
Oh
they
yeah.
will support them, and that's what a lot of people need.
Yeah.
When you have somebody like that, and a crew like that that's got your back and is telling you like you're doing great things, continue it. That sticks.
It
That, I mean,
absolutely.
it did for me. I know when I first got an opportunity to go on to Booze and Buddies and to kind of tell my story for the first time and to kind of introduce myself to everybody. I mean, that was a big launch point for me. That it built up a lot of confidence in
Sure.
myself,
Absolutely.
and it kind of made you feel like, oh yeah, no, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. And then as I, started to travel, went out to decon and those things and meet people in person, then it's like, oh yeah, you're definitely in the right place. Like
Yeah.
I knew from there, and now it's like I can't imagine going back. I can't not do this. There's no way.
Yeah. It's a great community to be a part of. I know we kind of jumped ship there. Did you have any more of
I've
those
still
on your
got more.
show?
I've still
Yeah.
got more
Yeah,
donuts.
dude. I know we didn't hit 13 yet.
This one is from a good friend of mine. This is from Ry Diablo, based out of the UK. So I sent him a blank. He doesn't do any digital sculpting, so he's like, "Well, I really want to be a part of this." And I was like, "Well, no problem, man. I'll just mail you out a blank. Do your thing, and we'll figure out a way to make it work." So he actually did a two-piece one. It's got magnets, and so it's got a hand sculpted
Oh, nice.
puddle, and it's almost like the dunked donut, a drowning
Yeah.
donut, if you will. So this one I've still
Oh,
got to prime and
that's
get ready.
awesome.
He did a painted version for me that came out really cool.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
And he's been one of those guys that's been just a huge support. I mean, again, the craziness of Instagram, where here I am in Westminster, Colorado, and there he is, and I don't know the name of the city, UK. And I mean, we became really good friends. We
Yeah.
talk often, and we share stories and inspirations and just whatever else is going on in life. And I mean, it's just as real of any friendship I've ever had. Um, and we've never met in person. We're days away from each other, but all because of Instagram. It's
Yeah.
a friend.
Yeah. Well, that's
I
what
have,
Fet,
I have,
Fet, Fet said. We met Mento on Booze and Buddies, and a couple weeks later, we shared a room at Decon. And,
it was literally like that
Yeah.
too. It really was.
That's really
And
cool.
it was one of those things like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Barely. I'm not that guy. I
Yeah.
don't just book a flight and go
I hear you.
crash on a couch at the Clarion with some people I met on the internet. Like,
Yeah.
on paper, that sounds crazy. And even my wife, when she's like, you don't know these people, right? And I'm like, no, no, no. I was like, I guess you're right. I was like, I don't. You're right. I
Yeah.
don't know these people. I was like, keep your phone on. I'll call
Yeah.
you. Maybe this is a bad idea. I don't know.
You're
But I
jumping
knew
on video chat. You're like, checking in, honey, just so you know. Everybody see.
from the moment that I touched down, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
touched down, took an Uber to the hotel. We ran down to Denny's to grab a bite to eat, and we kicked off like we were, friends since middle school. So much in common. They were more than gracious hosts to me.
Mm.
Fat and Alex both. They really helped me to feel comfortable, like in that setting at the convention. I got so much valuable knowledge just being there as a guest and seeing them set up, seeing how everybody had their booth set up, getting to meet and talk to so many people. I mean,
Yeah.
that has helped me a ton as I kind of prepare for sticking around in the community and hopefully, getting my own tables and my own booths and slowly transitioning to less time at the day job and more time, out selling toys and
Sure.
hanging out with the people that I enjoy.
Cool. Well, here I know you got a couple more donuts, but here's a good question that I want to give you an opportunity to answer. Dr. Crispy in the chat asks, "What's Booze and Buddies?" And they said this upcoming decon may be my first as an artist. Any tips on artist meetups at the con?
Oh yeah, I know a few. Yeah, so Booze and Buddies. If you're not following them, they're on Instagram at boozin_buddies, at Fet Up Toys. I think it's fet.up toys. You'll see them. And Alex at Playful Gorilla. Playful Gorilla is the one that will host it. So every Friday, I want to say 9:30 Eastern time.
Yeah,
And yeah, they bring on an artist. I mean, sometimes they'll bring on 50 artists, we each get 5 minutes depending on,
yeah,
what the occasion calls for. There's all kinds of different themed shows, but most often it's them bringing on an artist and highlighting that artist and what they do and exposing them to everybody.
hmm,
And there's never been a bad show. I think I've watched probably every single one of them. There's never been a bad show. And as soon as I think I know everybody out here doing it, they bring out somebody I've
oh
never heard of and they blow me
yeah,
away. And it's like, then I'm messaging that person like, you're the guy, dude. Like, I don't know if you know this, but you're the guy. Like, don't
yeah,
stop doing what you're doing. And a big part of it is because what it's done for me. I mean, again, it's truly changed my life, and I can't overstate it. And when I see like that little glimpse or that morsel of like, hey, that's where I was at a year ago, like I just try to point it out to my, please water this seed, because
yeah,
if this is what you want, if you want to continue to create art and you want to continue to be a part of a community and you want to grow and you want to learn, like you're in the right place. Stop looking, you found it. Because this community has done so much for me that I just want to try to give it back any way that I can.
yeah, absolutely.
As
Uh,
far as artist meetups, I mean, the biggest thing at Decon is it's huge. I thought for sure 3 days down there that I saw anybody and everybody twice. Hell no.
no way, man.
I've worn out my shoes. I wasn't at a booth, so I was free to run around, and I did a lot of running around, and I did a lot of networking. I mean, stop and talk to everybody, not just the artists you know. Stop to people that you don't know or you have never
Absolutely.
heard of.
Yeah,
Don't be shy. I kicked myself a few times because there were a couple people at Decon that again, I had them on that pedestal, and I saw them. There they are. But I let Adam get in his own head, and I was like,
yeah,
you don't go talk to that guy. Like
yeah,
Foo Stamps, for example. I saw him at Decon, and
yeah.
I thought that guy was the coolest thing since sliced bread, and he
He
is.
is.
But
Yeah,
I was too scared to go talk to him. And then since then, I've met him multiple times. We've had great conversations. He's the most down to earth, cool guy out there. And so then I kicked myself. I'm like, why did you do that to yourself? Why did you travel to Anaheim
yeah,
to you had your chance and you didn't take it? Like, definitely don't do that, because there's no way they're not going to be the coolest people that you think they are.
yeah,
Everybody is.
yeah. It's a
Artist
great
meetups.
place. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, no, do it.
artist meetups, we do have uh, the artist appreciation after party hosted by Dead Boy and Plastic Pizza.
Yeah,
That'll be me, Resin Rookie, Ghost Fox Toys at Buca de Beppo. So we have a full meal set up at the end. So if you didn't get enough of your fill, enough of the con experience when you're there, and you're looking for something maybe a little more intimate, please come join us. It's going to be a great time. There's going to be drops available. I mean, Dead Boy's got tickets ranging from just dinner to full on swag bag packages with custom toys from myself, Ghost Fox, Resin Rookie,
yeah,
and then a whole slew of other artists and fans and people that have added into this swag bag. So shout out to Dead Boy. He's been a day one supporter of mine and of many other people in
yeah,
this scene. And this was all his idea to put this after party together. And I'm honored and I'm stoked for it. Like, again, I told you, I'd messaging Resin Rookie 2 years ago, like telling him how I think he's the coolest guy, and then now
yeah,
we're gonna have a dinner in our honor together. It's like these things are. If I had a magic lamp, I would never even ask the genie for these things,
yeah,
because the biggest part of it is being present. So if you're an artist, if you're a creative, if you're in the community, if decon's an option for you, if there's another con that's local to you, that's available to you, and it's not gonna bankrupt you to do it, go do it. Like, at the end of the day, you're gonna have a good time. And if it ends up being not what you thought and not your scene, just don't go to the next one.
yeah,
But it's totally worth it to go. And especially as an artist, like I really kept my eyes open as far as, okay, in the future, I'd like to get a booth. I'd like to, what kind of inventory do I need to bring? What is standing out? What isn't standing out? And I'm sure I didn't get all the answers, but just a little glimpse, a little insight
yeah.
will be helpful.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing too is invest in getting to know artists through Instagram, chat with them. You know, I kept kicking myself going, I don't know what to bring, I don't know how much product to bring, what's too much, what's too little. And I'm like, I'm gonna ask so and so, and I'm like, no, they don't want me to do that. And I'm like, no. Finally, I bit the bullet and I did it, and they're like, oh yeah, here's what I found out, and that gave me the guts to ask someone else, and they gave me their
Yes.
experience, and then I'm like, okay, cool. So I feel like I'm gonna have a good amount of stuff on my table, and that let me kind of relax a little bit, and get and feel confident in that I'm bringing enough stuff so I can quit worrying about that, and now I can invest more in connecting with collectors, other artists, with people. But if I would have just let myself like just be worried, like what, like you said earlier, you reach out. What are they gonna do? Leave you on red? That's
Right.
like the worst. Or
My
say,
little brother, he
yeah,
put it to me he put it to me the best, and it always sticks in my head because I remember having a conversation about reaching out to somebody or something, and he goes, "What's the worst that's going to happen? They're not talking to you." He's like, "They're not talking to you now."
right,
And I was like, "Well,
absolutely.
shit, I guess you're right. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nothing will. It's either nothing changes or you get what you want." And in this art community, and I imagine it's the same for music or really any other community, is the squeaky wheel is going to get the grease.
Yeah,
If you're up there and you're asking and you're maybe you feel like you're being annoying, but guess what? I'd rather be annoying and get what I want than not be annoying and sad all by my lonesome and saying, woe is me, nobody wants to be my friend. It's like, well, you can't be the weird kid eating worms on the playground. Like, you got to go play tag. You got to
yeah,
go be a part of it.
yeah, yeah. If you choose to go sit alone, don't be surprised that you're alone. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's for sure. I mean, and some of this seems like just kind of basic knowledge, but yeah. Anyway, well, show us the rest of the donuts. I don't want us to
Yes.
miss out on those.
This one's from Digital Horseplay, another
Oh,
artist out of the
nice.
UK.
Yeah.
And he has been just one of those guys that I started talking to kind of early on, and we really
Mm-hmm.
developed a really great friendship where, we were really just kind of riffing off each other and continuing to inspire each other. And
Sure.
this was still very early on in my art career when I was talking with him, and he was one of those guys where I was just like, oh, this guy's out there killing it. And then come to find out that because I was diving into digital sculpting and resin printing and those things, that it was inspiring him to do the same. And so it's like we were really just elevating each other. And it doesn't matter if he's across the globe.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's been an artist for his entire life or if I just picked this up because I'm unemployed. Like, we're all creative, we all have ideas. And I think for me, it's just I found this outlet, and I found
Yeah.
an outlet, and I found a group of people that have the same passion. It's on us to find our tribe. That was a lesson. I'm 36 years old. It took me way too long. Like, just be, you go apply to a place, you get a job, you're hired, you show up. Does that mean these people are your tribe? It's like, well, you're all kind of there out of convenience. So
Yeah.
just because you work together, you wear the same outfit, you do the same job, that doesn't immediately make you friends. A lot of these friendships you have in life are out of convenience. I've
Yeah.
had friendships that were my best friends until the day I got fired and then never talked to them again.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that
Absolutely.
wears on you. And it took me a long time in my life to realize, like, it's up to you to find the people that are your people. And then it's up to you to maintain those relationships. Because
Sure.
why is it that if I'm best friends with somebody who lives 10 minutes up the street from me, but we no longer work together, so we don't hang out, but I'm good friends with so many people in New York City, so many people in Australia, so
Yeah.
many people in the UK. All of these friendships, I mean, these are more real friendships than the majority of friendships I've had, in real life.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know my wife and I talked about that. She's like, what about like friends, in town and stuff? And I'm like, to me, it's the
Oh,
opportunity to meet these people I probably never would have met. And
right?
we have like something so similar at the core, that like, thank God for the internet that I was able to
Yeah,
find these people, because I have not run into very many people. Not that I'm something special, but it's like we just don't
sure.
click. They're not interested in
I
the
look
same
at it
stuff. They're
sometimes
not.
as that meme of the guy standing in the corner at the party,
Yeah.
and he's always, it just says like, oh, they don't know and it's like, it's tough. Like, I try
Yeah.
to talk to, like, at my part-time day job. I mean, I really stick to myself, because I don't want to get sucked into that trap of like, oh, this is your life. Cause like I already have my life. Like, I'm just here so that,
Yeah.
my wife doesn't kill me and we have a paycheck coming
Yeah.
in. that at least covers the phone bill. But it's, it's my heart and my mind and my soul is somewhere else,
Sure.
and it's all right here. So any opportunity to hop on a live or to go back and forth and in instant messengers, about whatever, if it's you're interested in toys or you want to collaborate or you just want to show me this cool post that you see, or I get people just sending me funny videos. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
if you got a cute cat video, you could send it to me. 100%. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this guy's weird. He sent me a cute cat video. Like, no, I'm like, this guy's my friend. He sent me a cute cat video.
Yeah.
Like, it's I spend so much time on Instagram and on social media and within this art world because it's where I want to be.
Sure.
I don't go to sleep some nights because I'm sculpting something or I'm running the pressure pot. I'm trying to get stuff done, not because I have to, it's because I want to.
Yeah.
This is where I want to be.
Absolutely. Dead Boy
I think
popped
I have
on.
a few more donuts.
Oh yeah, let's see. Dead Boy must have heard us. Ears were burning, so he popped on.
Dead Boy hopped in?
Yeah.
Shout out to Dead Boy.
Yeah, ears must have been burning.
Snack
Rabbit. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes. She did such a great job of turning this donut into a snack rabbit.
Very, very, very good.
Oh, it's just perfect.
Little tail.
Yep, little tail.
Love it.
Little beehole. Little snack rabbit logo on there. And so it's like, yeah, I'll be honest, this whole project is one that's like constantly on my mind. It's like constantly like, okay, wait a minute. Why would you say you're going to do this, this, and this, and this when you still have these that you need to do? And it's one of those things where it's like it slowly eats at me, but then at the same time, I know that I can't just rush it to get it done to check it off the list of
Absolutely.
like, okay, I told you I would do it and I did it. It's like, so I would much rather do it right and everybody be, proud of their part in it versus like, oh wow, I really gave that guy some good work and he really half-assed it,
Yeah. Purple says she wants you to send her cute cat videos.
I will send you all. Some of them are my own personal cats. I got cats. I don't know about you. Are you a dog guy, cat guy? Do you have pets barely?
I have a dog. One dog now. We had a couple of dogs, but they're getting older, man. It's hard when they get
worst.
older. Yeah.
It is tough. It is tough.
I've had the dog we have now. I have had before my wife and I even got married. So she's.
And how long have you guys been married?
Well, we've been married almost 12 years, and the dog's gonna be 14. Yeah, so
I'm right there with you. Me and my wife, we got married September of 2010.
Same.
But I met her in
September what?
June of 2006, and she moved in right away. So nice. I always say we've been married since then.
September what?
September 10th.
Okay, we're the 4th. September.
Oh, right there. Yeah, we're literally right there.
Yeah. That's funny.
I tell you what, I'm a lucky man that I found a woman that loves me like that.
Yeah.
To stick around with me for that long. Because
absolutely.
I mean, I feel like I've lived a whole lot of different lives. I mean, I was a bail bondsman bounty hunter for 10 years.
Really?
I ran car dealerships for 7. Oh yeah, I actually just got my license renewed.
Awesome.
I'm back to being a licensed bail bondsman bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So, I might be the only guy making toys and getting you out of jail.
Dog the bounty hunter's got nothing on you?
He definitely does not. Almost got in a fight with that guy one time.
Oh, wow.
I'm not a fan.
No.
I'm not a fan. I don't think he's a Mr. Mento fan either, so that's all right.
Well, hey, you can't win them all.
No, that's it. That was my favorite comedian. He says, you can't please all the people all the time. And last night, all those people were at my show.
Nice. Nice. We got Mento the Donut Hunter. That's right. It's your new moniker.
I tell you, I'm the last guy. I'm like 125 pounds, 5'4", but I'm the last guy you want showing up at your door angry because I bring big people with me.
Yeah, these two refrigerators behind you of people.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
Like
2 guys the size of Fett right behind me, and they have no facial expressions and they do what I say.
That's awesome. Awesome, man. Well, is that all the donuts? Did we run through all the donuts?
I think so. Please forgive me if I forgot anybody. Let me double check.
Dagos wants you to grow a mullet. I guess he's hoping for a mullet.
Is that like a bounty hunter prerequisite. Like without a, I think I do need to start growing it out.
There
Yes,
you go.
I believe that's all of them,
Cool. Awesome.
except for Playful's. I have Playful's file. I have not printed his yet.
And then Fett said he's redoing his.
Yeah, he got a lot of flack. He's just started getting called a butthole all the time,
Okay.
which was actually really cool. The sculpt was really cool, but I think the
Butthole.
butthole moniker stuck. And
Yeah.
shout out to that because he just picked up digital sculpting like the beginning of this year,
Yeah, he
like
did.
on Nomad.
Yeah.
The guy blows me away with the stuff. He's such a
Absolutely.
great uh, analog sculptor, like with clay. And it's amazing to me how well it transferred over to digital sculpting for him.
Yeah.
Like he really picked it up fast, and it's just continuing to get better and better. So I think that that's more a bigger reason why he wanted to redo that donut is that he's got this whole new world of digital
Uh,
available to him.
absolutely. I think that the spatial understanding he has from traditional sculpting really translated over well to him working in digital. It's been great to see.
Well, I found a lot of artists who were, again, like I sculpt in clay and that's what I do. And it's almost like what we were talking about with reels on Instagram, where it's like, that's this way of doing it, and this is my way of doing it, and I'm not gonna change. But it has its benefits, and
Yeah.
I think that exactly that. You've already got the fundamentals down. For me, digital sculpting is great because again, it gives us the ability to I sent you that file. You sent me back that file. I print it out. You can print it out. We can share it. We can spread it across the world and not
Yeah.
have to pay USPS a ton of money to do it.
Yeah.
And there's no wait time. It's
Yeah.
all boom, instant.
That's
Um,
crazy. And the
it's
fact that
yeah,
it's like on
it's
a
amazing to be alive in this time. Like never as a kid, I had a vivid imagination as a child, but never did I imagine that for $200 I could buy a machine that will take what I put on the computer and turn it into something physical and tangible that I can hold. Like that
oh
is witchcraft.
yeah, that's
And it
future.
doesn't get old. I've been printing now for almost 2 years. And every time I take something off the build plate, I'm just like, this is magic.
Yep.
Like, and I understand it. It's pretty simple science on how
Yeah.
it works. And like,
Oh
once you
yeah.
get it's like, oh, I get it. It's not that, complex. I don't
Yeah.
know how a computer works, but I know how a 3D printer works. But man, it seems like magic.
Well, it's like that's why my 7-year-old always comes out and says, "What's your latest creation?" Because it's magic, and it's not just to
Yeah.
him, to me too. I'm like blown away every time something works out, and I'm just like, "Whoa, this was on my iPad, now it's in my hand." You know?
Right. And
It,
before it was on your iPad, like it was just in your brain.
yeah,
Like it literally did not exist in any form.
yeah. It sounds like there's going to be a side quest for you and Fett at Decon. Smitty's saying he'd love to see you and Fett go on a hunt, a bounty hunter side mission. So Fett
I
said,
tell you what, I'm sure we can find some fugitives that need recovered
"There you go."
while
So
we're out.
that's a little side mission for you at Decon there. Fett sounds like he's on board too. So
Oh yeah, gladly.
cool.
I'm
Well,
sure I'm sure he would be.
yeah. Well, we're right about at the hour. We got 2 minutes before we jump out. I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, being the
Thank you
the
so much for
guinea
having
pig of
me.
sorts, the first run at this. Hope everybody enjoyed some great conversation. But tell people, if anybody in here is not familiar, if you by rare chance are not following Mento on Instagram, tell them what you're up to. What do you got coming up? Um,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm on Instagram, Mr. Mento, MisterMento. You can oftentimes catch me with the plastic pizza. They're family to me, so we're constantly,
mm,
you know, working together. So I've always got projects working with them. Shout out to Beer Canvas. We just dropped our glass
that's awesome.
last Sunday, sold out in about 12 hours. So hopefully you got one of these. I keep telling everybody, if not, check out eBay. Maybe you get lucky. But so that was just, and I'm sure I have some more work coming up with Beer Canvas.
Sure.
Gosh, I've got skateboard. Oh, man, my phone wigged out. A skateboard show coming up with Magic Carpet Ride. I'll start getting some posts up there on that.
Very cool.
That's for a charity show coming up. I may have some pieces at New York Comic Con in October. I'm trying to get myself out there physically, but it might not happen because I got to get to California in November.
Yeah.
I've got I'm in series 2 of the creatives.
Very
Shout
cool.
out to the Guardian. Shout out to the creatives. That's been an amazing venture, and to be a part of it, I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
My cards are done; they're in their hands.
Woo.
So I'm pumped for that. I mean, I just feel like I could go on forever about all these great things. Follow my Instagram. I'm always trying to keep everybody posted. Follow my Facebook page, Mr. Mentos Collectors Corner. It's just a great spot for like-minded people that support my work, that want to see what comes next. We're always running some cool things in there. We'll have some giveaways coming up as we reach close to 200 members. Gosh, I'm sure I'm forgetting some things.
Sure.
The ice cream guy's coming. Let me grab him
Yeah.
again.
That's so
That guy's
cool.
coming. We'll have hopefully a nice run of these coming up real soon.
Very cool.
I did the big Statue of Liberty pizza drop. Plastic Pizza should still have a few of those available. Those were exclusive to that Zazzy show. It's about 8 inches tall,
That's awesome.
3 pieces, solid cast resin. It's a brick. Gosh, what else? I'm sure I'm forgetting a ton,
Hey,
but I keep you here for
we'll
an
just
hour as I ramble.
put it on Instagram and we'll see it there.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
Just follow me on Instagram. That's where you can always find me. If you ever have questions, anything at all, do cat videos, DM me.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for stopping in. You know, a lot of you I see every week, but some new names and faces. Thanks for checking it out and following. I do Twitch stream every Thursday night at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. And the plan is to every other week kind of rotate with a guest. I've got, Fett, who's in here, has agreed to be on. Playful Gorilla.
Nice.
A couple other people were, Resin Rookie's going to come on.
Oh, too cool.
So we're, I'm trying to build out a list and coordinate schedules. So come back by on Thursdays if you're around. And take like every week, tell y'all I love you all so much. I'm thankful that you'd spend time with me. Thanks again, Mento, for hanging out. It's a blast. I'm glad you were able to be on here. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.